Guys, so here's how I bought my house and I actually got paid to buy my house with no money out of my pocket. Now, I do want to do a quick disclaimer. This does not work for every property. It's not going to work for every seller. It's not going to work for every agent. And if you cannot afford this without the strategy I'm about to show you, do not buy this house. This took a lot of time and preparation to learn how to do. And if it's the first time doing it, make sure you watch the post video probably right over here on how to break it down even further with the paperwork and things of that nature. Make sure you get a good lender and make sure that your agent and seller fully understand what I'm about to go through. So I'm about to break down the terms and everything like that, the payment plan, how much I got paid, and how that came out of, none of that came out of my pocket. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you where this deal came from. So whenever you're looking for a property like this, you're gonna understand what kind of circumstances that you have to be in. So this seller, this is actually an MLS deal that was on the market for about 70 days or so. Just looking on the MLS, calling these agents, seeing what's going on. So I called this agent actually. She didn't answer the phone, so I went off to the next property. So the funny thing is, the next day she texted me, and I was like, okay, she didn't want to talk to me on the phone. It's cool. I'll just play her game. So I texted her, and we did this whole transaction, whole negotiation, whole strategy through text. Did not talk to this agent not once before we got the contract. So we were texting this whole time, figuring out which kind of deal basically worked out for the seller, things of that nature. And mind you, I've still yet to even talk to the seller. Not once have I talked to the seller, not once. So with that being said, so I talked to this agent and we kind of got to the terms I'm about to show you guys here in a second as far as how we're going to sell and finance their house. Their main motivation was they heard of seller financing and it's just they didn't want to wait a long time till they got paid back. And I was like, cool. The only reason I said cool to this is because it's going to be my primary residence. So I don't really care until I refinance out of that property. So we were able to give them a shorter balloon than everybody else did. So guys, whenever you guys are calling agents and sellers, make sure that whenever you're talking to these guys, just because they heard of a creative contract or heard of seller financing or heard of this and they discount the other investors that tried to do it, do not take that as a no, they're not going to do it. Take that as a why didn't this work out with the other seller or the other investor, right? So make sure you're always asking that question, because every time I love when I hear like, oh, we already talked about that, they say no to it. I always ask like, what was the reason why? Because that's the only reason I end up getting this deal, right? So that was our main motivation, never talked to the seller. So with that being said, that's kind of the background of how we even kind of came across this deal. So I want to show you why they did it. Now they own this house fully outright, which is another reason, key parts of this whole breakdown of why this is able to happen this way. They own this house fully outright. So breakdown was they were asking $500. So before that, they were asking $550, all the way until they reduced the price to $500. So I came to them, they were offering $500K, right? And so I said, look, I'll pay your asking price. I actually paid your original asking price, which was $450, if you give me good terms to work out these deals, and I'll sell and finance it to you. They said, okay, well, how much are you trying to do down payment? Now they said they wanted $100K down. Now, typically that's too much weight. That's way too much down. Now the fact that, now the key point I brought up before is the fact that they own this property outright, which means they owe no mortgage to it. I'm able to kind of work that out. So I said, okay, so they want $100K down. I want my agent to get paid from me, so from my side, the buyer side. So agent was getting $16K, that's roughly about 3%. Agent was getting $16K, so I'm gonna put seller, agent. What else did I have to do? I did seller, agent, closing costs, or actually no, let me get to it. Renovation, I'm gonna do about renovation, 30K for renovation. This renovation is gonna basically take care of, you know, flipping over countertops. This house is actually I'm gonna show you like little clips of it. This house, like, really, they kept it in great shape. The whole maintenance, only flipping over the kitchen to tap it, to upgrade it, and fix up my office, because I'm gonna show you guys a video of my office. So that's gonna be for another video. And here and there things, little things to do that, right? So renovation. What else did I do? I also want to put 20K into savings. You'll get why I'm putting all these numbers down, right? 20K into savings, personally. So this is going straight to me and putting in my savings from the deal. And 10K, pay myself, EC, because every deal I do, I want to make sure I pay myself. And I think that was it. Oh, closing costs. Closing costs, roughly is about 35K to close this property. That includes my lender costs and also my title closing costs, everything like that, right? So the closing, CC. All right. So with all that being said, all this ends up being is math-wise, I think it's about 215. Okay, I did the math already, so I'm pretty sure that's right. So sorry guys, let me make sure this is right. 210. 210. All right. So I'm pretty sure this is right as far as the math on everything. So this is basically everything that I have to come across, because you want to make sure your entry fee is the right kind of entry fee when they're getting into these creative deals. So I made sure I pay my arrears, which my seller, not my arrears. Pay my seller first, cash the seller. I'm going to pay your assignment fee, which is your agent. I'm going to pay your renovation or furnishing budget, which is going to be my renovation. Savings, which you can also call your holding costs if you want to call it that, but it's not going to be my holding costs, it's typically my savings, but maybe slash put holding costs. You want to put pay yourself, so you're part of the assignment fee, and you'll put your closing costs. So this is 6 out of the 7. The 7th one is marketing. I'm on marketing because I'm actually buying this property myself, so this is not going to be a rental for me, right? So this is 6 out of the 7 entry fees. Broken all the way down, so it ends up being a 210K entry fee that I need to bring to the table, right? So what you guys are asking probably at this point is, where am I going to get $210,000? So that's where this method comes from, which is, shout out to Pace Morby, this is my mentor. The Morby method. So I'm doing the Morby method on this one. So what the Morby method is basically seller financing and also getting a loan from the bank. So it's $210,000 right here. I'm getting this amount from the bank. So the bank is gonna come over here. Let me go ahead and write this. I'm gonna leave it on there because I think you guys might be writing it. Actually, if you're writing this down, go ahead and take a screenshot, stop, write it down on a piece of paper. So, because I'm gonna erase it. So now what the banks are gonna do, you wanna go to a particular bank that allows these type of things. Now, Matt was my lender on this one. I'll also list a lender that's I feel like is particularly great in these type of situations. And just if you're a new fix and flipper, a new wholesaler, new anything. If you do anything new in real estate, these guys are the best ones to help you. So I'm gonna list, put their link in the description below, so make sure you take a look at that. But typically, whenever you find these lenders, they're gonna say, okay, cool. They're gonna go through an appraisal to make sure that the property is worth its value. Now, this house value was around $550. Appraisal came back at actually $570, right? Appraised, I don't know how to spell it, so don't laugh at me. I think that's how you spell it. Appraisal came back at $570, so we're above appraisal value. So when it comes to this type of loan, I'm using a DSCR loan, which is an asset-based loan. Meaning is, the loan is based off how much the property can bring in income. So based off market rents and things of that nature, that's how they're going to come to say how much they're going to loan you up to value to. Now, they'll do up to 80%. So they don't check your tax statements, they don't check your bank statements, they don't check your, they check your credit score, but they do it to everybody. But that's how to get the best interest rate, which I'll get to that in a minute. But it's basically easier for a lot of new investors to get into because it's not based off you, it's based off what the property can bring in, right? So they're typically going to give you up to 80% loan to value or of appraised value, right? So my purchase price was $550, so they were able to give me 80%. Now I didn't need 80%. Reason why is because my market rent was only at $3,200. $3,200 market rent. And I'll make this quick because this really doesn't have too much to do with how we're doing the property. But just a little side note for you guys. My market was only $3,200. So I needed it to be $4,000 so I can get the type of loan I want. Keep putting the column in there, where $4,000. So I put 75% down, I put more down so I can get a better rate and qualify for this loan. And if you have a good lender, which the lenders I'm gonna put in the description, they're gonna walk you through the whole process, handhold you, like the best customer service you can ever think of. They're gonna walk you through the whole process. I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about that, why I'm putting 25% down instead of 20% down, and kind of get into that, right? So I put 25% down. Well, I'm not putting 25% down. My Gator lender's putting 25% down. Now, if you guys are not familiar with what a Gator lender is, it's basically a transactional lender, which actually they come in, bring the funds that you need to close on the property, and then you pay them back once the property closes. So that's what we're doing in this situation. Now, Gator lenders can do a multitude of things. They can fund your EMD, they can do transactional lending, which means, like I just said, closing on a property, help you close on it, to double close, or to do an instance like this, to do a mortgage method. That's what Gators are usually used for. All right. So this money's coming from the bank, and so my down payment. So the bank's gonna say, okay, look, we'll give you 75%, which is gonna be 500. Put 75% here, but you need to come over with the 25%. So 25% is going to be 137,500, equaling up to be the 550K. You guys follow me? Which you can't answer me, but I hope you're following me. So this is coming from the Gator. This is coming from the lender. All right. So that's how I'm getting my 550K all the way in, right? So the lender's gonna give me this amount right here, and I'm gonna use this 412,500 to pay all the things we listed: the agent, the closing costs, the this, the that, all the stuff I listed over there is coming from this 412. Now I'm noticing that's more than what you need. Exactly, that's more than I need. I get that. We're gonna get into that, all right? So now we know this is how much I'm getting from the bank. This is 75% again, all right? 75% again from the bank. Now I know my entry fee to pay everybody off that I need to, including myself and everybody, right, is 210. So no minus 210 from that amount, which is gonna give you this right here. 202,500, right? All right. So with that being said, 202,500 is basically still in your pocket, right? So you're gonna say, so I guess you guys are saying, what am I gonna do with that 202,500? Simple. I'm gonna pay my mortgage with that. Pay my mortgage from this lender that I'm getting it from. I'm paying my mortgage. All right. So that's why I just want to show you guys where I'm getting that 210 from. Now we're gonna go ahead and now break down the terms of everything. I'm gonna put this over here. 202,500 net. All right. Put that right there. Now let's go into the breaking down the terms of what I'm actually doing with the seller and everything like that. Okay. All right. Now, so the terms I'm making with the seller. Terms I'm making with the seller is, remember I said they wanted 550 is the price I'm giving them. They wanted 100K down payment per DP. So what I owe them is 450 left, right? 450, right? Left. So from that is I owe them all that, and they have a balloon in 3 years. It's perfectly fine, right? Balloon in 3 years. So what I'm doing is they want $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month payments to them, right? So that's our deal structure of the terms. They want 100K down and $1,500 a month, right? So that's cool. Taxes, let's just call that my P&I. This is a 0% interest loan, by the way. So 0% interest. I'm paying them interest on it. The reason I didn't pay them interest is because I said, hey, look, I don't really like paying interest. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build your interest into the purchase price. So instead of giving you 500, like you guys wanted or had on the market for, I'm gonna go back and build interest into the original price you wanted at 550, right? So I'm paying 0% interest on this house. So this $1,500 is principal payments only. So let's bring it down all those times, right? So that's that. Now, if you guys wanna know my tax and insurance, my TI basically is around 800 a month. Utilities, I'm being aggressive and conservative. It's really about 600 for utilities. And my monthly mortgage payment from my lender, the lender I'm using is going to be around 32 this month, right? That's about what I'm paying a month for that lender I'm doing. So overall, that's going to be, trying to do the math in my head, I think it's like 61, I feel like I'm doing that. 6145 a month. So this is my total monthly payments every single month, $6,145,000. Not thousand, $6,145 a month. Now that's a lot. That's a lot of payments. Now, like I said before, the disclaimer: if you cannot afford this regularly, do not go out and go buy this property. Yes, I have this money right here to help me subsidize that amount. Cool, but what if a car crashes down? What if, you know, health insurance, or what if something happens where a lot of this goes away? So do not bank on that money over here, which it is a lot of money. But don't bank on that to try to make sure that these get paid every month. So make sure you can pay this without having to go through this whole situation ahead of time. So now, not only do I have 20K in savings, I also have this as a nested bank. So even if I lose a job or whatever the case is, or, I mean, I can't lose my job if I'm self-employed, but let's say that my business goes out of whack, right? Make sure you can pay that by yourself, right? So that's how this is getting paid. So now this payment was covering me for about roughly about 28 to 30 months of payments. So I guess about less than maybe about 2.5 years. So if I play my cards right, this is mortgage, utilities, payments to seller for 2.5 years that I'm getting for free up front, right? Yeah. Let alone, so I just guys wanted to show you that, because the thing is, I'm doing this whole thing with no money in my pocket. I use a Gator lender to pay for my closing costs, pay for my down payment, this down payment too, my down payment that I had to owe to the title company to lock in the other half to get this 75%, wherever it is, to get the 75%, and I'm paying them back. So I'm paying the Gator lender back $6,000. So $5,000 actually. So that's really gonna be add 500 or add 5K to that. Because I'm only taking the money for about 3 days, 2 to 3 days. So I'm taking the money, we close on it 2-3 days later, pay them back what they put into the deal, and I'm giving an extra $5,000. Quick, fast, get $5,000 in 3 days. They're really making bank from that. That's why I love Gator lending. I'm a Gator lender myself. So if you guys ever need any kind of Gator lending, I do Gator lending, especially now that I have this kind of money sitting on the side and ready to invest. And guys, I'm not using this money for this and for that. And this is strictly for investment. If I ever use this money, it's gonna always be for investments. So make sure you don't just take this money, take this strategy, and run off with it to go buy this car, that car, this house, or well, if it's a house, it's okay. If it's an investment property house. But don't go crazy with kind of money like this. This is a really cool strategy, but put it in the wrong hands, it can ruin you, all right? So make sure you guys are being diligent with your money. I'm probably gonna show you guys how I'm gonna use this money and how I'm gonna structure it through Relay Financial Bank, my online banking service, and how I'm gonna use that to kind of do everything. Cool, I think I kind of covered everything. Yes, typically what you're gonna find out with lenders is they don't like second positions. So this seller is gonna be in the second position. This seller is gonna be in the second position behind the lender. Now lenders they only want to be first position. That's it. They don't want to know if anybody's below them. Now, if you're upfront with your lender and they understand how to do the Morby method, which the ones I'm about to show you in the description, they understand it, they'll allow that to happen. They understand that once you close on a property and then it's moved on, they don't really go and check to see who was the second position lender. They don't really care. As long as they're in the first position, they really don't care. So make sure that is the key. Make sure the lender knows what you're doing. Make sure the seller and the agent, if there's an agent involved, know what you're doing. Because the last thing you want to do is maybe a year down the road, it's like, oh, what about this, and this, and I'm in second position, and you have a whole fiasco about what's going on. So make sure everybody knows what's going on. Be honest, be truthful about everything. This is an awesome strategy. I loved it. It was great. I appreciate Pace. Also, with that being said, is why this 2.5 years of me not having to make payments at all, right? God forbid anything happens. I'm stacking up my bread. I'm using this money to make it more money. So I'm putting this in maybe a whole life insurance policies. I'm putting this in, or even just a savings bank that actually gives you money back on your checking. So don't go to these banks, these Wells Fargo, Chases, and everything like that, because they give you what less than 1%, like 0.01% cash back on your money for having it in that bank. That's ridiculous. And then they're over there putting it in other people's pockets for 8.5%, 10%. Don't do that. Put in at least something that make you 4%. Neighborhood credit union, I know it's in Texas. So have this money making money while it's just sitting there paying your bills. So I should be using this money to make it more money, or putting in other assets that's going to generate cash. So I mainly do real estate. So that's probably what I'm gonna use it in. So I do full time as real estate. So I'll probably put into real estate. I might venture off into another asset base, but make sure that asset is bringing in cash flow, right? Appreciate you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. If you want to know more information about the other strategies that I'm doing to buy properties with no money out of my pocket and getting paid to buy properties, go ahead and check out my videos.